can swipe it down, and Leo, it will swap you. Too.
Don't swipe me. It makes my camera go all crazy.
Well, I didn't do that. It just
No, I know.
all of a sudden,
It always does that. I don't know why.
I know. I don't know why either.
Hey, Dave, do you have your Canic? Sorry, golly. Do you have your Canic on and or with you?
Not on me, but it's within a minute.
Okay.
Round trip minute, 1 minute.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Cool. No, because I had because one of the topics I wanted to talk about today, I know everybody's got something to talk about, was the red dot, like we had talked about that one day. And I have, because the Hollow Suns came in. I had a couple different examples. So I was like, we can like look at the SRO versus, the Hollow Sun versus just a regular RMR, like,
Right.
So, but anyway, if we get time to get to that, we can worry about it then.
Okay.
It's a minute, and you move with purpose, so I'm not super worried about it.
Have you installed it yet?
So it's not, this one's not for my pistol, it's for my rifle. It's an offset.
Right,
so
I see that.
It's going to be the one with the LPVO that we talked about.
Yep.
So yeah, I haven't put it on yet, but this is, so it'll can't like that.
Right.
I really like it already though. I kind of like drive. Yeah, it was nice.
No, go ahead. What?
No, I drive fitted it. Is it like it's got a 1x4 on there? So I kind of just saw where it would be once I put the 1x10 on it, and I really like it. So hopefully I won't need to modify anything too much, just because the 1x10 is like 1.5 inches, or it's 1 inch longer. So I may need to get different rings for it. So we'll see.
Now, quick question. Are you using your external mic, or are you using your earbud mic?
I have to be entirely honest. I'm not sure which mic is doing what.
Okay.
I actually don't see these.
I see it flashing. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, I don't think that my earbuds, I think they're literally just earbuds for, like, they're not like phone call earbuds. They're regular earbuds. So I'm pretty sure the mic is still doing the work of the picking up my voice.
Okay.
Because the last time I tried to do
it.
Yeah, I don't think these have that. I think this is literally just to listen to music.
Okay, gotcha. Oh, so they don't have a built-in mic, is what you're saying?
Correct. Yeah. Exactly.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I'm pretty sure my toner mic is still doing what it's got to do.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah. Well, you can hear me, so somebody's doing something.
Right, for sure. The only reason I recommended we start using, like, mine is my mic, but going back to when we were all together in the same room and realizing that the external speakers were causing problems, if we use an earbud, then at least we can cancel any type of echo that we might get.
Word. No, I mean, as soon as you said that, I figured what was going on. These have only ever been hooked up to my phone, so I had no idea if it was going to work or not.
All right.
So,
well, welcome to episode 14 of the Casual Shooter Podcast. I'm Dave, your host, and my co-hosts, as usual, Leo and Chris. Say hello.
Hello.
All
right. Another week, another podcast episode. The only real thing I have, other than us doing a comparison of sorts, I can even bring my Canic in because I got my 3 paddle mag releases and I've got them on, so I can show the update on that.
Sweet.
But I finally finished my dry fire written schedule.
For the year, or just like what's the schedule look like?
So the schedule is actually, I would share my screen, but we know what that's going to lead to, so I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
We'll lose Chris, or Chris will lose us. We won't lose him, but he'll lose us. So my schedule is actually, I broke it down based on my work schedule.
Okay.
So it's 7 days, but the 7 days are it's 6 days, and they are the 6 days that I have off between starting at the tour and going through the 4 days. So basically, the first day is what I call gap day number 1, which is today.
Mhm.
So I'll work tomorrow. So I'll do today's dry fire probably tonight. I work tomorrow. And then I got to look at my watch to figure out what the days are. Tuesday is gap day number 2. So I have a schedule of what I'm supposed to do for today. I have a different schedule of what I'm supposed to do on Tuesday. I work Wednesday. Then I have 4-day number 1, 4-day number 2, 4-day number 3, and 4-day number 4. And they're all a different set of skills. Some of them are the same skills. Like I do slap the holster and presentation to start every single dry fire episode. But after that, I actually have the headline is what I'm trying to work on that day. It might be transitions and trigger control. It might be, who knows, reloads. It might be whatever. But whatever the theme is that day, I'm going to have drills that coincide or include those items in there. Like one day is strong hand, weak hand, little things like that. Well, I think
like slap the holster would be like your activation. Like, okay, this is how I'm going to start, and then I'll do the actual. This is what I'm focusing on for the day.
Yeah, and I actually got that from Steger.
Okay.
So, and that's actually what I have found is that's the best warm-up exercise for me, because I have found before I read his book and came across that drill that it would take me a couple minutes. I would have to start really slow on my presentation, say at 1.2, and do that for a couple of draws, and then go down to 1.0 and do that, and I would slowly build up my speed to get down to 0.7. But what I found was when I started doing what I term slap the holster, starting at a surrender. And so I'll hit my timer, but my timer is on my holster. So as soon as the beep goes, as fast as I can, I move my hand down and slap my holster. And that records my time. So I can look at the timer and see that it's on average 0.32 seconds for me to go from surrender to slapping the holster, and the beep is 0.3 seconds. So about the time that the beep is going, the entire time, by the time the beep is over, I'm basically slapping the holster. So in that case, I can have my hand at the gun. By the end of the beep, I can have my hand at the gun. And then I go into my presentation, because at that point I'm kind of amped up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everything's up. My speed is where it needs to be. So I only do that for like 8 or 10 reps, whatever it takes for me to consistently be right around 0.3 seconds. And then I go with the rest of my drills.
Question.
Okay.
Would you ever modify that to be set at a par time, and like your gun's actually in the holster, and now you're going to surrender to getting your grip on the gun and under the par time?
I could set it at 0.3.
Yeah.
Because that way I know, but that would be weird.
I don't know, just like a slight variation on it, or
I don't know, because the beep is 0.3 seconds, and then if it beeps again, it's just going to sound like one long 0.6 second beep. Be like, hey, look, I'm doing it every time. So I don't know that I would.
Okay, that's fair. No, I didn't think about that.
That's a good question, though. I hadn't thought of it.
Well, I mean, because you could do that with a couple, like for your draw, like from draw to actual presentation. Like you can set that as a part time and be like, hey, I want to be, sight up and on target within like that part time, and then click, and what's my split between presentation, click, and then transition to next target or something like that. But
most of the timers aren't that sensitive that they're
right.
picking up.
They're not going to pick that up. Yeah.
Right.
Stupid timers.
Now, I've seen some videos where they are if you keep them close, but
Yeah. Well, and some of those people have the wristwatch ones that they're like right there on your hand. And then you can like really lower the sensitivity or raise the sensitivity, make it so it hears everything.
yeah, you got to increase the sensitivity.
There you go. So, okay. Well, so then you do like, so you've broken it down. So I guess your 6 drills for the days. Are you going to do that? So like when you come off a shift, are you going to, because you're at a busy station, come off a shift, go to bed, take a nap, do whatever, and then like is it going to be afternoon, evening? Like when are you going to, like what time of day are you going to be doing your drills?
More than likely evening, like
Okay.
after dinner, because the dogs at that point are going into sleep mode, more or less. So probably about 8, between 7:30 and 8, they're curling up on the couch or with somebody to snuggle down. So at that point, I can go out and be uninterrupted with dogs trying to get to me and see what I'm doing.
I think Huggy might have the right idea not having dogs.
I'm okay with dogs. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with
No.
working around it.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I love all 3 of mine, but whew, man, between them and 2 kids, I'd be like 10 o'clock. All right, time to do a drill, which is what it's been for just because I've been slowly getting into it. Just draw and present, and even that's just like, whew, it's 10 o'clock. I got to get up at 4, man. Like I can't. None of you can tell their bags underneath my eyeballs, but yeah.
But so why don't you do it since you're more of an early morning person? Why don't you do it early in the morning instead of late at night?
Well, so early that would basically give me the weekend to do it. It'd only be 2 days a week.
Why? Why couldn't you
Well,
do it before work? That's what I'm saying.
I mean, theoretically, I could actually do it at work because I have the blue gun that we use for when we have violent patients.
Right.
So I actually have the blue gun. I could just take my belt to work and practice just my draw stroke at work.
Well, no, you can practice more than that. But you can still, pull on the trigger, apply pressure.
Right.
So you can still practice trigger control, even though it's a little different. You can still do it, and you could definitely practice transitions. I mean, just look at the lockers.
Yeah,
If
for sure.
If you think about it, and when you walk in that locker room,
Mhm.
like the door's right behind me, I just walked into the locker room. You've got lockers, and lockers.
Yeah.
I mean, you can transition back and forth. Just put like a yellow post-it note on different lockers and transition. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is my only concern is now that the new PD started their new class on Friday, so it's gonna be really awkward when their cadets come in and I'm like pointing a blue gun at their lockers.
You better
duck it down.
Well, they don't come in till what, 6 anyway?
Oh yeah, no, I'll be well done by then.
Exactly.
Might have to start doing that now. That's actually a really good point.
Mm-hmm.
The sacrifices we make for the sport. Possibly getting arrested in my locker room in my underwear.
Well, that would be interesting.
Just gun belt and underwear, nothing else.
That's like a mutual person we know.
Well,
Yeah.
not a judgment.
No, not at all. But I'm just saying, this has been done before.
Truth.
I don't know that you want that.
So how far have you projected your training calendar? Like
that is my calendar for in perpetuity.
Okay.
So it never ends. The only thing that I have done, I'm afraid to even try to bring up but I'm going to do it anyway. Open up my files real quick. Where are you, file? Okay.
Huggy's been so still, his lights turned off. Got you.
So the one other thing that I've added, the caveat is I'm pulling up the actual, I put it in a Word calendar
Uh-huh.
by day. So come on, baby. There you
Oh,
go.
so like gap day 1, gap day 2, 4-day
Yeah.
1, 4-day 2, 4-day 3,
So it's
4-day.
like 6 different training
Gotcha.
schedules.
Uh-huh.
So I'm there now. So like today for me is reload drills. So I've got
Okay.
a bunch of different drills, and some of them are, they're not just reload, reload, reload. There's actual like 4 aces, 2 reload 2, 2 reload 2, strong hand and weak hand, 6 reload 6. So like there's an example. Um, on Tuesday, I've got turn and draw, strong hand, weak hand drills. And since a lot of, anyway, so I clumped those together. Anyway, on days 3, I'm sorry, the last 3 days of my training schedule, I am going to select a different classifier each day, and I'm going to dry fire a classifier.
Nice. That's actually a really good idea.
So I am going to go through the entire classifier list at USPSA
Mm-hmm.
and dry fire each and every one of those classifiers at some point. So I'll be doing that 3 to 5 minutes, that classifier. So if it only takes 10 or 15 seconds to do that
Right.
classifier, so everything is 3 to 5 minutes. And what I'm going to do is it's not a hard if I do it for 3 minutes and I'm like, I've been consistent and I've been pounding it out and everything's good, I'll move on to the next thing. If I get to 3 minutes and I'm like, I'm leaving time on the table, or I'm sloppy, or I'm not being patient, whatever it is, if there's a problem, then I'm going to reset the stopwatch for another 3 minutes and do it some more. So I don't plan on moving from that drill until I feel confident that I've mastered it for that day.
Okay.
And then I'll move on.
So I got another question then.
Okay.
Are you going to, man, Mira, it's like interviewing you today. Are you going to record any of that, and not for like, for like to publish, but to watch back for you and be like, hey, on this I'm noticing that I'm jerking, or this I'm noticing that my transition isn't like a hard stop from left to right or right to left or anything like that?
I didn't plan on it because the whole reason I have not is the amount of time that it takes to set that up and do that portion of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather spend that time doing the actual dry fire.
Gotcha. Okay.
But what I have determined is if I'm finding that I get to a day and I'm having problems with certain drills,
Mm-hmm.
or I can't seem to work my time down, my part time or whatever, then I probably will video that particular drill to figure out what it is I'm doing, to try to figure it out anyway, to try to make that improvement.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I was just curious. Yeah, that definitely does take a lot more time, and then having to replay it and go back. Yeah, so that definitely is time consuming.
Yeah, and some of the issue is where I'll be doing the drills, there's not a lot of room, so finding a place that the camera can actually record from is another issue.
Gotcha.
So there's a lot of different challenges with that.
Understood. You can make it romantic. Be like, hey, Jill, this is our date night. You want to video me while I draw my firearm?
I do it in my underwear. That might turn her off, actually.
Leo's not the only one that can shoot his gun in his underpants. Don't recommend that, by the way, people.
So it took a lot longer for me to get to that point, to come up with my schedule and break it all down, but I'm feeling good. So now I'm really interested in Steger's new book coming out, Practical Shooting Training, and then compare what I am doing, what I have decided I am doing, to what he feels someone at my level should be doing.
Right.
So I'm very interested in seeing that.
He's gonna get real emotional when he's like, it's this exact same thing. Oh my gosh.
Or, I mean, it may be like, well, I don't know that I agree with them because I have these particular, and not everybody fits in the same box.
Right, absolutely.
So there may be some things that, for me, accuracy's never been a problem because for the last 45 years of my life, everything's been about precision.
Right.
So now it's a matter of my problem is speed. So I have got to really work hard on my transition speed, my reload speed. You know what I mean? Even my visual speed, picking up that or focusing where I need to focus and shooting at the appropriate speed. And for me, everything's about speed. So I can shoot the center of the target all day long. That's not the problem. The problem's doing it, today.
Quickly, yeah.
And
you don't
not
have
taking
all
3
day to hit
days.
the center of the
Exactly.
target. Yeah, I got you.
Oh my gosh. Have either one of you seen that Florida Open video I posted?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, man. That was so bad.
Why can I not picture the
It,
video?
I saw it.
I sent the link because it's on my personal YouTube page. It's not on our page.
Oh yeah, no, I haven't.
I sent the link, so I created the video where I linked
Oh.
every single stage.
Right.
But I mean, I had standing reloads, I had movement issues, I had lack of visual patience on targets, or I had to go back and, I'd already transitioned to another target, had to go back. I had that once or twice at nationals, but there was a huge difference in 8 months between the Florida Open that I shot and nationals. I'm actually quite happy now looking back and seeing my progress. I'm very happy with where I was at nationals. So compared to 8 months earlier at the Florida Open.
Right. Well, I
mean,
then
go ahead.
I think I made a comment on Kevin's, and I never say his Fairfax. Kevin, whatever his last name.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Kevin Fairfax.
Sorry,
Yep.
Kevin, I can't say your last name right. But he put a video on his Instagram about like with him just doing drills, and he was like, hey, I could do better. And it's the same thing though. It's like your comparison from Florida Open to Nationals, obviously you're happy about, but now Nationals is like your litmus test for going forward. Like, okay, this is my new baseline, and now I have to progress from my new baseline. Like it's a new level, and now you need to move forward and get better from there. So that's what I like about that stuff is, okay, all you did when you improved was set yourself a new bar to hop over and keep moving. So that's good.
Yeah. I mean, even if you look
nice
at stage one, yeah. Well, stage one in the video was not my first stage. Okay. That almost got me fired up. All right. But the other thing was like stage one. So the video goes in order, stage 1 to stage 11.
Right.
The problem is stage 1 was not the first stage I shot at. So it's not in shooting order. It's just in numerical order. Mm-hmm. And stage 1 is where I learned that you've got to be prepared to clean your magazines. Like I wasn't even prepared to clean my magazines. Mm-hmm. I'd not had any issues with it, so it wasn't a thought in my mind. And that's where I was talking to Huggy about having problems with sand in the magazines, and that's where it occurred. And you see me in that shoot house fumbling around with my magazine because it was all jacked up. The follower didn't want to go up, so the springs were messed up. It was just crazy. I probably lost 10 seconds there. And it almost seemed like every stage I was losing seconds somewhere. And it was obvious seconds, like not 1 or 2 seconds, like 5, 6, 10 seconds. It's like, Oh my gosh. It wasn't cringeworthy, but it was like, wow, man, I made so many mistakes.
Yeah. Well, and it's not like those a half second or something like that where that'll add up to a second or two. It's full blown seconds adding up to
at a time.
Yeah. Which is that's a horrible feeling. By the time you're done, you're like, well, I'm gonna go hang my head and download my bags and think about myself.
Well, you know what though? I didn't at the time. I was losing that time, but at the time it didn't strike me as how bad it was because my skill level wasn't there either. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the thing was is I was shooting on a squad with Wampler. So it was Wampler and several other really good shooters. So I was looking at it more like, wow, I suck in comparison to these guys. But
Right.
I wasn't picking up on all of my mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
So, but now going back and where I'm at now and looking at the video, I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, it was like, I can check that box that I did that wrong. You know, I could write down 30
Right.
things and check 20 of them for each
Right.
video. They might all be 20 different things, but it was just, wow, it's an eye opener. So
Yeah, your standalone performance as opposed to your comparative performance still wasn't what it should have been.
yeah, not even close.
I gotcha. See, that's why I'm always scared to video myself, but then I'm like, well, I'm glad I did because now I know I was slow, or I like you said, I wasn't visually patient, or I didn't transition the way I was supposed to, or I didn't push off to the next array of targets with enough, speed or whatever it is. Like my just mobility isn't where it needs to be, or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, it's always good to have that feedback. It just sucks when you're like, oh, the feedback is bad.
Yeah.
I get that a lot. So that's my life right now.
It's the only way to learn.
Truth.
And
So what else you got?
Well, no, I think the other thing is it's helping me learn how to dissect my own video,
Mm-hmm.
and go, oh, wow. Oh, and be able to put that down like, okay, well, I really, juiced that up that day, but there are a lot of things that I've already overcome and corrected. So that's a huge plus. So I didn't even look at the video like that anymore, other than, wow, those were a lot of problems. I've corrected about 80% of them. Now I need to work on my speed and correct the other 20%, make that better, and then I'll be way closer to where I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
So
Good. That's awesome.
what do you guys have?
Well, I know what I got. Huggy, what do you got?
I'm not talking STDs either.
Yeah.
Don't
Technically,
have
That's a
that.
different
STIs.
podcast.
Yeah. STIs now.
Right.
They changed the terminology.
I am staying old school. Sorry.
Yeah.
In that
Those
case, I'm
dudes
going
out there
VB.
that are, yeah. Don't be a fool. Wrap your tool, guys.
There you go. No, as for me, sticking to training, I've actually started training. Actually, started dry firing like January. Oh, not even January 1st. It was like December 31st. I started dry firing already, and I've been working on just everything from quickness from surrendering stance all the way down to presentation, movement. I've been working on a lot of magazine changes. So I'm really putting in the time. For me, usually the time that I do it is probably in the afternoon slash evening time. Downstairs in my basement. That's usually where I go into my man cave area, set up everything, and been working on quite a bit down there, and just getting myself ready for the next season. I'm excited actually because I'm excited that all three of us are pushing each other to perform better and do better. So I'm actually looking forward to watch my improvements, especially now, like you said, Dave. Being able to having ourselves recorded and being able to go back and looking at ourselves from what we were before to now. So to be able to see that progress and to be able to say, okay, now I need to work on this or work on that. So that's what I've been doing right now. I also jumped up on the treadmill since I have a treadmill downstairs, getting my workout in on the treadmill, but at the same time doing a presentation on the treadmill, which can be a little tricky at times. Got to make sure you got the proper footwork.
It's all fun and games until your face meets the mat on the treadmill too.
I know. I don't want to be one of the YouTube fails.
You get that weird, not actual rug burn, but just treadmill burn across your face. Yeah, it doesn't feel good.
Yeah. No. No, not at all. So, but no, that's where I'm at right
I think I'm going to try the treadmill thing at work, but just, did you see the video Nils put out?
I
now.
was actually going to say that's probably why I started doing that because he saw his tall counterpart Nils all up on there, and
Well, I mean,
yeah,
Steve Anderson's been saying that for a year or two now about dry firing on a treadmill. But I think I'm just going to do what Nils did, which is basically just extend your arms. I mean, where I'm at, nobody's going to care. And then turn and do transitions while moving. You know what I mean?
That's what makes me nervous. I'm gonna tell you right now. I was like,
Milk. It does a
okay, let
body
me try.
good.
science.
I was getting ready to do a turn, and I could feel that. I'm like, ooh, maybe I'm going a little too fast, and maybe I need to slow this thing down a little bit.
Well,
I
you're
was
not
like,
supposed to do it in an actual run.
Yeah, no, you're definitely not. I've
You're
oh
like
seen
no,
7.5
that.
miles an hour.
I saw what happened to somebody who loses their balance on a treadmill.
Yeah.
I
oh,
was once at a I don't remember the name of the gym now. It was one that had been around here. A health and fitness, something fitness, but anyway, we're like running side by side on the treadmill, and all of a sudden I see this guy stumble, and all of a sudden he disappears from my view, and I hear a crack. Well, at this gym, right behind the treadmills was like a wooden fence because they had a track around the gym. Well, he he lost his balance and was thrown off of the treadmill and slammed right into the fence. I was like, "Oh my god!"
That is a
It was
human
quite funny.
projectile, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen.
yeah,
he
Yeah.
broke the fence. He hit the fence so hard.
I can only imagine what the
wow,
fence broke on him.
wow, wow.
He was in a clump.
Yeah.
was was
Uh,
he? I was gonna say, was he snoring? Had like,
Well, not quite that bad, but
oh.
still doesn't feel good.
no. So what else you been doing?
That's about it. Of course, getting our count together of, start to figure out ammunition wise, and I'm trying to see where things are, primer wise, so that we can get ahead of the game there. And I know everybody's looking for primers, so just trying to make sure that we have enough for the season to get through the season. So hopefully, I am hoping and praying that this whole thing will kind of slow down here soon, but I doubt that.
Probably not since January 6th.
Yeah.
Did you see there's already been anti-bill legislation submitted?
Yes.
One of them that if someone reports that you didn't store your ammo and weapon properly in your house, that bill would give the authority to police to come into your house and investigate.
I just don't see that going through. I really don't, because I'm like going now. They're saying that they're going to be able to come into your house. It's like, yeah.
I don't disagree with you. Okay. My point here is that they're going to go to no ends to do everything they can to take stuff away, make things harder to get. I mean, you've already heard Biden, when he was campaigning, said
Mhm.
he's looking to end online ammo purchases. So now you're going to have to do all ammo purchases in person. So there's a lot of stuff they're looking to do. So that's why I am not optimistic that this is going to end anytime soon.
I mean, you could do snail mail, right? You guys know how to write in cursive. At least
I got a quill.
they taught you in school, anyways. Yeah, I don't. I'm not.
And I'm
I'm
not
not
trying to
under.
turn this into a political conversation. I'm just saying I don't, because you brought
Yeah,
up, I hope it ends soon. I don't think it is.
yeah, I would
I,
agree with that.
well, I'm just trying to, what's the word I want to say?
Huggy,
Trying
ever
to be
the
hopeful.
optimist.
Yes, for once in my life, I'm trying to be the optimist. But yeah. So other than that, I actually, been working on marrying.
Oh,
New trigger in.
every time you
Easy.
say
I
that,
see
I
easy.
problem is I think of the human every time you say it. And I'm like, oh, right, the
The
firearm.
gun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
How's she looking?
So she looks great. I put the new Freedom Smith trigger in, and then of course I ordered another one too, another trigger I saw on there, and I know Dave said he was having a hard time. Uh,
They don't
finding
have the
stuff.
selection I want yet. They're still
Right.
too low in their stock.
Yeah. So I found another one that I actually really like, so I'm gonna switch that out. But it actually, I like it. I mean, with that tungsten rod and spring just dry firing, it just feels good.
Oh, okay.
I just need to get out and actually fire it. And actually, I'm hopefully on this 4-day, I'll be able to fire it and see how I give you guys a report on that.
Yeah, that was gonna be my question: is when you're gonna actually shoot it.
Yeah, this 4-day, I'll be able to shoot it, and I'll give you guys a report on the next podcast on how it works out. And actually, I'm going to set up an actually outdoor targets. So I have a place up here that a gentleman, a colleague of ours, has allowed me to go up there and shoot.
I thought you were going to say a gentleman of color.
I gotta be
You said
honest.
a gentleman of colleague of ours.
Yeah, I was like, this is gonna just getting off.
So a colleague of ours lives up there.
Yes, and
Okay.
he's going to allow. He already said that I'm allowed to shoot up there, so I'm going to actually set up targets and actually be able to practice a little bit more live. So I'm actually excited about that.
Okay.
So
Well,
yeah.
awesome for you.
Have you considered? Have you considered the brass backstrap?
No, I don't know. It just feels so far everything just feels right. I'm just going to fire it and test it out, and see what it feels like. I don't know. I like the way it feels right now. The weight and counterbalance, my big hands, it just sits there, So I just like it the way it is. That Canic I love it ever since they came out with it. I love my DA, SA, SF, SFX. I love them all. They just fit right. I haven't really had a lot of problems. Speaking of which, though, I'm a little hurt with Canic because I'm kind of trying to figure out like why over in Europe they get a lot more cool stuff, I guess you could say, just like the dry firing equipment that they can actually put in for the Canics. I mean, there's a company over here that has something similar, but it's made for Glocks and everything else, but it just doesn't. And I think they started making it for the Canic, but it's so expensive. And I'm like, come on.
Well, Glock's been
What
here for
dry fire
35
equipment
years.
are you talking about?
I'm sorry.
What equipment are you talking about?
It's called like a dry. It's a dry fire system that you can actually put into your gun, so that you can, like with our Canics, when you're firing them, you can get multiple firing out of it instead of just one click and then just feeling nothing. It actually gives you the recoil and everything. Dave, what was the name of that company that you had found that you made it for?
I don't even remember now.
That's okay. They're not a sponsor.
Right. I think it was like Coolfire or Cool Laser or something like that. But it had basically it was like a CO2 cartridge. It was inside the magazine that they made for your gun, and then they put you change out the actual barrel system, or the barrel in your gun, and put it in, and then it functioned that way, allowing you to, when you pull the trigger, it allowed you to feel a recoil and feel a firing effect of the gun. So Canic has made something for theirs, but of course it's over in Europe, and I've been looking on the Canic USA to see if they would put it over, bring it over here, but I don't understand why.
I'm gonna interject on this one. I feel like Dave and I may be on the same page, just given his facial expressions. I feel like it's probably a little bit of a waste of money on that one. I don't know. If you're gonna do that, just get an air pistol and go shoot teeny boppers in the woods. I think dry firing is probably, without any of that, is probably going to be just as effective as, I don't know. It just seems like a lot of work for not a lot of actual payoff.
I would test it out if they had one over here because, like he's saying, it is supposed to give you. I even think it actuates the slide.
Yeah.
I think it's like a solid barrel, so the pressure causes the slide to
It's going to give you like felt
move.
recoil that you would get if you actually
Right.
fired the.
And in a situation where we have like we know we have a finite number of
Right.
primers, finite
Agreed.
number of ammo or powder and bullets and brass. It might be one of those things where it might be beneficial enough where if you went to a range and set up an array of targets, you could actually do live fire with this system versus expending what finite materials you have that you could shoot in a match. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no,
So
absolutely.
I wouldn't mind. I would like to try it out to see if it's even possible to do that because I think that's where the benefit would definitely be.
And it actually, I tried out something similar to that up at the Sportsman's.
The one in the PA.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
PA, they had something up there, and actually it was really nice. They had it with a 1911, and it was actually really nice. It was really cool. But yet, if you want to advance it, you can actually install the software onto your computer system because it has a laser in it, and you can actually project it on the wall, and it actually picks everything up. So you can make it bigger or just keep it small. So it is what you want it to be. So, but
My wife says that to me all the time.
Keep it small.
Or can you make it bigger?
I mean, they've had pneumatic guns around for decades, but the ability to use that in a real gun and not a gun specifically made for pneumatic operation is fairly new. That's why I say I wouldn't mind if there was a place where we could go and shoot it and try it. That would actually be a pretty neat little test because I think there could be benefit if you could literally take 2 or 3 magazines full of CO2 cartridges or 5 or 6 magazines full of CO2 cartridges where you can get 20 or 30 rounds out of each one and just go and do that. I think there is benefit, especially, because then you can get used to doing the visual patients with tracking or watching your sights, your
Yeah, your
dot,
front sight come
seeing
back
it
on
come
target.
back down on the target, little things like that. As long as it's comparable, then there is benefit for sure.
Well, but
Yeah, I'm
that's
really
my big question about it is for cost benefit analysis, like how much are you going to be saving in doing something like that because it's not an indefinite supply of CO. So like how much are you going to be spending, how much are you actually going to get out of it as far as training for it to actually show any benefit. So that would be where I would be curious to see if it really did actually make an impact on your training.
I would think.
You
Go ahead,
go ahead,
Chris.
Dave. I was going to say, and I'm really surprised that like a lot of the indoor ranges hasn't come up with something like that, where it's like, hey, look, if you want to use the pneumatic system in your gun, and they could set up something where you could go in there and shoot like that, versus using live ammo, like you were saying.
Well, and if you think about it, this is where, all right, so let me back up. The first thing I was going to say was I think in the atmosphere of today, I think this could be very fiscally responsible because let's say it costs you $600 for the setup. CO2 cartridges are cheap, okay? How much are we spending now on ammo? 50 cents a round?
Mm-hmm.
Or more. A lot of places I've seen now it's 60 cents a round for 9 mil. It's not going to take long. So basically what we're saying is that 60 cents a round, that's one case of 9 mil for one setup. So you've already bought a case of ammo. Now your cartridges are much cheaper. So I would think very quickly your cost output is much less than you would do with real live fire. Again, it comes down to, is it a comparable recoil? Or are you getting enough benefit from tracking your sights and transitioning? Because look, I think if I was able to get a hold of something like that and use it in my garage where I can practice moving as soon as I can get that second shot down range with a compressed air system, I think the benefits are ridiculous. But without testing it, I'm not putting out $600.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's way too much money to gamble with. I'd much rather spend 60 cents a round and buy a case of ammo.
Yeah, because you know you're going to get some return on that.
Yeah,
as far as
exactly.
Yeah.
Or even shooting it in a match.
Right.
I mean, that's 4 local matches.
Yeah.
You're right.
So if they want to reach out to us, by all means, please feel free, and we're happy to test your product.
Yeah. We'd love to be a sponsor, sort-ish. Or you be a sponsor.
We can be bought. No, I'm kidding. We can't. We have integrity.
Liar.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
We have integrity. There's Huggy's air quotes on that one.
Now, the other part of that was, imagine if it did work. And now you go with Huggy's real fetish, which is laser sighting systems. Now, if you could do both of those, you could literally set up an array in your house or in your backyard and actually shoot like a stage. And you would know where you hit. You would get the recoil. So there's a lot you could do with it if it works out the way it's advertised. I don't know.
Okay. Huggy, your laser thing, we should just go to laser tag. We clean up. It's all right. He's in the back of the stack, and we'll get in there and just destroy a bunch of 12-year-olds. Worst case scenario, we'll just use you as a human shield and be like,
right. There you go.
I get on my brother about that all the time. He's like, I can't shoot without a laser. I'm like, well, then you can't shoot, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a whole other thing. Not the brother that works with it. Different brother.
Okay.
The oldest one. I'm not going to drop his name on this one because I don't want to hurt his feelings any.
The one that lives in another state.
No. That's the older one. This is the oldest one.
Okay, I know who you're talking about.
This is the one that's your guys' age.
I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
We've discussed him.
Yeah. He's like, I just want to be able to put a laser on things. I'm like, okay, well, maybe just learn how to shoot. But that's neither here nor there. Correct. Good for him for creating jobs for people that put lasers on guns. America.
There you go.
What else you got, Huggy? So we want to do the CO2 thing. We got your training stuff. Have you? Yeah, actually, have you been feeling like it's getting better? Like, do you feel good about the setup and training and all that stuff?
Oh my God, yeah. I'm like,
so basically, I'm gonna be buying a lot of appetizers. Great.
Maybe.
Wait, my future's looking really expensive right now.
I don't know. I mean, you, like you said, you beat me a couple stages and everything like that. You got me. I mean, but it's just fun. I love the fact that you and I push each other and we have a good time. And that's the part I love. I love how we have a good time and just roll, and that's it. So I'm looking forward to it. But I'm also looking for the improvement of both you and I, and just for you and I to go from that U class to a D class or C class.
Can you really call you a class? That's like scum of the earth, basically.
You can't, because it's
unclassed. By definition.
Okay. Yeah, by definition, you can't call it a class because it's unclassed.
Okay. You're right. Okay.
All it means is you haven't shot enough classifiers to be classified with that gun in that division. That's all it is.
So then I would say I look forward for us to classify ourselves in a higher level.
There you go.
A class. I just want to get class.
Well, like I said, that's simple. All you have to do is shoot 1% and you're no longer unclassed.
Boom. That's cool. We could do the 1%. We're elite. We're so elite. We're 1%.
We're the 1%ers.
Yeah, right.
We're gonna make a patch. 1%er, not just losers.
How many of you can claim you're part of the 1%?
Yeah, TM. That's right. Trademark, verbal trademark right now. We can't have that one.
Mhm.
It'll be awesome.
Except
Something to
for,
look
except for I
forward
will have to say this: we can't use the diamond. We can't use the diamond. We'll have to come up with another something else. Oh, we can't
to.
use a diamond.
An opal.
Can't
We
use
can
a
do an opal.
diamond.
Yeah, because it simulates how to put it. There's motorcycle clubs use it for signifying certain levels.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I heard stimulate, and I'm like, I'm out. I can't do that. I'm married.
I didn't say stimulate; it says simulate.
Oh, well, you gotta enunciate.
I did enunciate. Look, you just got something else on your mind. That's all it is.
That's true. That is very
You
true.
need to pronunciate and enunciate,
You talk right.
and not stimulate.
Hmm. So I see you're like in the 50 Shades of Grey mode. That's all.
No, it's because I haven't gotten my stimulus check yet. That's why.
Really?
I got
Everybody else has.
$89. I don't know. Maybe I made too much. Whatever. Okay. Well, you got anything else, Huggy?
Nothing else. Nothing else.
Dave, you got anything? Because I don't want to run too long today, just because our interview was verbose.
You.
But no, the big thing, kind of like we were talking about a little bit in the beginning, and we've talked about a little bit before, in particular with you, Dave, because you actually shoot carry optic, and that is ultimately, I think, the goal at some point. Once I, at least for myself, once I actually get a very good, like, my fundamentals built up, and I feel like I'm in a good place as far as in production, and I can be a consistent performer in either the C or B class kind of range, and not because I want to be class that way, just but I want that level of consistency as far as performance. Like, I want to be a solid, upper C, lower B class level shooter where I can consistently give that performance and do well. Once I get that, I think I can transition over to carry optic and feel like I'll at least have a solid foundation. But along that line is, what are the things you're looking for when it comes to an optic for your carry optic? Like, what are some performance measures, or some quantifiable? Uh,
Three things:
there you go.
large window, clear glass, and a clear dot.
Okay.
And I found out
Okay.
with the RMR and the Vortex both that those windows are smaller, so it's much easier to lose that dot on recoil, transitioning, presentation, whatever, versus that SRO. Man, when you pull that thing up, that window is big and that dot is there.
Mm-hmm.
But that's also part of my problem, looking at the dot and not looking at the target. So
Right.
I found that looking for the dot makes you lose the dot.
Okay. Well, so then in the other aspect of that is, now is that the same thing that you're looking for competition versus everyday carry, or are there certain variations between the two that make one better for one application versus the other?
Well, I mean, I believe Trigicon even says that the SRO is designed for competition, not for carry.
Okay.
So there's nothing out there that says it can manage the day-to-day abuse that you might have with with everyday carry. Whereas the RMR, I mean, that's what it was designed for.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I moved the RMR to my everyday carry.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're getting into different things here with my competition site. I'm okay with having to turn it on and turn it off.
Right.
I don't need it on all the time. But with my everyday carry, now you got to figure out, how are you turning it on? So with my RMR, it's on all the time.
Right.
And now there's a bunch of them that, like HoloSun has one that has the shake awake.
Yeah.
Basically, when you draw it, it's turning on. So by the time you present it, it's on, it's there. So those are the differences that I would be looking at. Not quite so big of an optic for carry, but as big and clear as I can get for competition.
Okay. Cool.
The bigger the window, the better. I think the Romeo Max is like the size, almost the size of an SRO.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and then
So,
there's I don't remember if it was you that showed me and again none of those are sponsors by the way. Grace Optic, the one that didn't have yeah, so if
yeah,
this
it's
is
the
a
V.
regular red dot, yeah, it's just a V and there's no frame at the top of it.
Right. It's
It's just
just the
yeah,
V with the dot. Yeah, that looks pretty
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, and I don't know if that was just designed to fit on the footprint for the SIG 365 or what, but that definitely seemed very interesting because now your window is only limited by the sides laterally, but everything else
Correct.
it's whatever your sight picture is.
Yeah.
So that actually seems interesting, and I don't know if that would be better for competition or if that's kind of the compromise, like a hybrid for both.
Well,
Just because
and
I don't carry a dot regularly.
right. And if it's rugged enough, man, I can imagine how great that would be for carry because it doesn't obstruct your vision.
Right.
Which same thing with competition. It's not, there's nothing there. There's no optic obstructing your vision. You can
Yeah.
see everything.
And
So,
and that I think that would be my biggest concern with that is just how durable is it going to be, and that, for either one,
yeah,
because I mean
yeah,
people drop their competition guns. It doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen. So the
yep.
last thing I want to do is drop my less than cheap, expensive competition rig and then be like, well, I need a whole new optic because it just didn't hold up to falling a couple feet.
Well, and I saw a guy dropping his pistol out of his holster back where everybody's carts and stuff were. He was walking by a like one of the stroller
Mm-hmm.
type
Yeah,
carts,
yeah,
and the handle literally grabbed his pistol as he was walking by and pulled his pistol out of his holster, and it fell on the ground. Now the good thing is he said what happened, and I witnessed the whole thing. So I said he is exactly correct.
right,
He didn't pull it from his holster. He didn't even touch it.
right.
That device literally grabbed his pistol and pulled it out of his holster. So
And I can actually see that happening given how those
yeah,
things are set up. Yeah,
and the RO just moved everybody back,
yeah,
picked up his gun, let him clear it, and then put it back in his holster. So yeah, I mean, even there was you would never anticipate something like that happening, but yeah,
yeah, for sure. That is most definitely not a common occurrence.
no,
I can definitely see it happening, but that's not something I've ever seen happen. But yeah, I mean, and good on the RO for not being a
yeah,
jerk about it, obviously. But yeah, that would for something like that would be my top concern is just the durability of it. But yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
me too.
they definitely all have pluses and minuses. And like you said, like Shake Awake, I would definitely want on something like an everyday carry. Not
Yep.
super worried about it for a competition, but yeah,
Yeah, in a,
Because
in a
I
real
have to
world
say that,
situation, I don't want
yeah.
to have to think about, oh, let me stop, let me
Oh,
turn it
please,
on. Oh, okay.
let me get my
Yeah.
brightness settings selected.
right. Well, I was going to say, speaking of the brightness, was Dave, remember how you said when you went into, I guess, the shoot house when you were in Florida, that the dot was,
That
had,
was on your RMR.
Yes, that was on my RMR.
This
right.
little guy,
So, yeah.
right?
So I was
Yeah.
thinking the Halo Sun now has that one where it has solar on it.
I'll
And I'm like, what?
This guy right here.
Yes. Yes. So it has solar on it. So it actually charges the battery, keeps the battery charged the whole
Okay.
time. And I guess it's supposed to keep the clarity when you're going into dark.
So I
You
just
could,
read the manual. It
yeah,
actually you can adjust it for whatever setting you want, but it will also auto adjust for the ambient light
right.
detected by
That's
the
what I want.
solar cell.
That's
Yes.
that's what the RMR does.
Yeah.
And that is what that, and I found it was at Shadowhawk, not Florida,
Okay.
where I
Okay.
found it was the Delmarva
Mm.
in 2019, where I was under their covered building and the targets were in the bright sun. It was picking that up and dimming the dot, but I was in the dark, so
yeah.
it was very hard to see the dot.
Mm-hmm.
So the SRO doesn't do. So I know I have a weakness, or I know where the one weakness is with that RMR.
Okay.
So
Well, there you go. So yeah, no, I mean, and that is a very quick, kind of down and dirty conversation about that. Obviously, that's a topic of conversation we could probably have a very extended talk and probably an entire episode about. But yeah, because those came in, and I knew that Nawaz was talking about getting them. I bought 3 because my Christmas money came in, and I'm like, I need, and they're all backups for my.
So you did get your stimulus money.
Well,
It's
that
called
was for something
Christmas.
else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus' birthday money is what that was. So,
Same thing.
yeah. So yeah, I actually kind of wanted to bring his name in there just because I know he would be jealous if he actually listened to the episode. I was gonna send him a picture of all 3 just kind of lined up next to each other because he was like, "I want 1." I'm like, "I bought 3."
To be fair, he can be a little slow on moving on things.
Oh yeah, he's still trying to buy my AR legally at a background check and the whole 9, just to be very clear. But yeah, that's how that M1 got sold out from under him. I'm like, you took too long.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, did he ever buy a Swamp Fox optic? I wonder.
No, but I did.
See what I mean?
I ain't got time to wait, man. Stuff's got to happen. So
I agree.
no, because he ended up getting that the SC, the Canic. He did finally move on that, but
well, that only took what 6-7 months.
About 8, yeah.
Yeah.
That's being generous because he was probably thinking about it before he actually started talking about it. It's all good. But yeah, so no, I just wanted to get a little bit of your feedback on that. And like I said, we could probably talk about that for quite a while, but that was really the big thing I had to talk about today just because I do have some Swamp Foxes on the way that will eventually be sitting on pistols.
Okay. Well, that'll be another show. Then we're going to have to do an optic show.
Yeah.
With the RMR, the SRO, the Vortex, the Swamp Fox, the Hollow Sun, or as Chris calls it, Halo Sun.
I'm sorry.
Because it's got a ring.
Because I keep on thinking of Halo, the game, because I think of Chief. So.
Oh, no. The song started playing in my head as soon as you said it. I'm like, and I looked at the side of it. I'm like, maybe I've been saying it wrong. No, it's Hollow.
There you go.
Maybe it's the dot in the middle of the O that I keep.
Don't blame the dot. It's not the dot's fault. Don't do that.
And the dot is not a sponsor.
You're better than that, Chris. Blaming an inanimate dot. Didn't do nothing to you. Poor dot.
That dot.
Idiot. Well, that's all I got. So
that's all I got. Is that all you have, Chris?
Yeah, that's all I have. Actually, I will have to say, if any new shooters out there, that a good thing to do is to maybe go to USPSA website, because I noticed that they got some videos up there that you can look at to see about working the tablet and actually some of the rules and everything of that nature. I actually kind of find it interesting now. So,
okay.
Got some videos out.
All right.
You might want to go
I hear
and check out the resource.
I hear there's videos on YouTube too.
I hear if you don't know how to use a tablet at this point in your life, you're not that smart. That's just what I heard. That might be a rumor. But if you're an adult and can't figure out how to work a tablet,
I'm talking about
probably
practice
shouldn't be on a
score,
range.
I'll be specific with it, saying practice score application.
Now we're gonna overemphasize practice score.
Look,
Huggy, I love you, and the only reason I can do this is because I know I'm gonna have to buy appetizers on the first match. Man, like practice score.
That's right.
Go pack that score.com.
What's your aggregate score?
You are not that Southern, okay? Come on down to packdatscore.com. I'll sit on you. Like, come on, man. Come on. Don't be that guy. Just
I'm
stop.
sorry.
Oh, that's
Oh my
hilarious.
Ladies
I
and
know.
gentlemen, I'd like to apologize on behalf of the South. We don't know about that.
This episode of Humor is brought to you by Huggy
Yeah.
And apparently
Yeah.
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
and the letter C.
The letter A?
Holy mackerel. All right. Well, this has devolved very quickly, and I'm going to apologize. Ooh, boy. Everybody go to packthatscore.com and watch those videos.
And type in the letter 4. You guys got anything else?
P-A-4. I'm out.
I'm out.
All right.
Until next time.
Don't be a little bitch.
Yeah.